Welcome to Extra Special Brews. I'm Steven Spears.
I'm Will Cushman.
It is the week of Thanksgiving, a beautiful week because I've been trying to limit my calories early so that I can backload on the back end of the week. And, of course, count my thanks as well. What are you thankful for this week?
At this point, I'm thankful that we've only had to do this intro 3 times.
That's fair. That's fair. It's one of those things of if I put an on-air sign outside of the recording area,
hmm
this wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
I feel like a prima donna here, but
it's
I
all
guess
Logan's fault.
yeah, exactly. And the dog can't help that it wants to say hello to my
Yeah,
wife when she
it's
gets home.
mother.
I get that. Mom,
Yeah,
it all makes sense.
yeah.
So if we're being honest, I'm thankful that I have eggnog in the fridge now, which I didn't realize they start
Ooh,
selling early. We just picked up a carton of it yesterday, and I'm saving it because it's one of those things of you have one glass, you have two glasses, three glasses, floor. That's normally how it goes when it comes to eggnog in this house. So,
hmm
as always, don't forget to find us on social media at Extra Special Brews on Instagram, Extra Brews on Twitter, Extra Special Brews podcast on Facebook, or just go to the website extraspecialbrews.com and you can find links to everything. And if you haven't done so already, give us a quick subscribe because that way, with these weekly episodes we're doing now, you can be notified as soon as they pop into your feed,
hmm
and then you can be in the know as soon as possible about what's going on that weekend. So don't
Yeah,
forget to do all that. That would be helpful for us.
yeah.
Now,
And if you like us, throw us a review too.
nice. Well, if you've got
Helps with that algorithm.
absolutely, or a well thought out bash or critical review,
hmm
we're 100% welcome to that.
Yeah,
Just make it more than like 2 words.
like a tasteful roast.
Exactly. We are wide open for that. And as we get those in, we will gladly read them on air in Australian accents at some point. So
Oh, that sounds fun.
just an
Okay.
idea. You looked a little scared there for a second. So before we got into this week's kind of news, what's going on, I wanted to give a quick update. Now, I don't know if I brought you into the know on this, but at your wedding,
hmm
we had McConnell's Irish whiskey at the bar.
Yes.
Some of the it's got to be like top 2 maybe best whiskeys I've ever had in my life.
hmm
Smooth. Even people that were at the wedding that I know don't drink whiskey often were drinking it neat. And so that kind of gave you an idea of what was
Yeah,
going
that's a good
on.
sign.
So we got back from your wedding. I Googled it, couldn't find it anywhere. No trace of McConnell's whiskey. Now, did you get any at the wedding?
I tried it. Yeah, I tried it.
Okay.
A sip.
Okay. So we got back and Parker and I were discussing, where do you find it? And he's like, I don't know, man. So 2 hours ago, I guess it was,
hmm
Parker got back to me and said this weekend at the Auburn game, he met the VP of Conecuh Brands, which
Yes.
has nothing to do with the sausage.
Who also is I think the VP or owner of Clyde Mays Whiskey,
Yeah, same thing.
and supplied all of the whiskey at our wedding.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Yes.
So Parker mentioned they own McConnell,
hmm
and it was a distillery back during Prohibition, shut down, and they just reopened, but they haven't actually put out any bottles into the market yet. So he was like, I don't know how he got one, but that would make sense that if he's the guy that owns it, he, got a nice bottle for us.
Yeah. I really have no idea how he got it. It's obviously not a pre-prohibition bottle of whiskey. I mean
Well,
that.
see, that's what I didn't want you to admit to, because I'm telling myself that bottle we had was in the back of a 1927 Ford Coupe that was racing through the mountains of North Alabama in the beginning stages of NASCAR.
Okay. I mean, that's a great story. I think it'd be a little dustier if that were the case. Um,
You don't think he would have wiped the bottle off before he brought it to the wedding?
I think probably what it is they did an initial trial batch run
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out really good. And then they decided this is our recipe. We're going to keep it going.
Fair enough. Was delicious. So if you
Yeah,
see it,
very good.
according to Parker, the guy said, "Give me until January," and Parker said, "I don't really know what he means, but so I guess we're going to reconvene in January."
Yeah, Mike's probably going to get the first bottle off the line and try to get it to Parker somehow.
That's beautiful. Well, I
Yeah.
like the sound of that. So the mysterious McConnell bottle mystery has been solved.
Yes.
For those that were in the know and in the worry, well, you can feel better about it now. So, and one of the things also we want to plug before we got things going was this Saturday. It's actually a really cool event going on that really falls in line with what's going on with breweries in general. And this is something you had brought up that I thought was interesting that I didn't even know was really going on. So it's Small Business Saturday, right?
Yeah. So, Black Friday is the poster child holiday for, uber capitalist consumptionism.
How do you really feel, Will?
It's a big day for a lot of big brands, and I think a lot of times in the chaos of sales and what have you, people forget that there are stores around them that contribute more to their local economies.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's something that happens every year, but this year Governor Kay Ivey signed a proclamation to say that Saturday in Alabama, and I think across the country,
Mm-hmm.
state to state, is Small Business Saturday. So you're encouraged to go out and support your local businesses, and for us, first and foremost, that means your local brewery.
It's a good place to start if you're gonna make purchases elsewhere.
Take a pit stop, but take some time out of your day to support the people in your community that really hold up your local economy and give money back to your community.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to wear my Alabama Peanut Company hat.
Do it
on Saturday,
or go buy some Alabama peanuts. That'd be even better.
Awesome. That's actually a good idea. Do you think if I walk in with the hat, they'll be like, "Hey, you from the festival"? Probably not.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely remember.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
So we'll get the week kicked off, of course, in Birmingham here because we're biased and we're local. Mm-hmm. And started off with Trim Tab, which I also wanted to start off with this because it does have my most anticipated beer release of the weekend coming up. And if you were listening to the intro to this, it would make sense why it's so anticipated as well. Of course, to start things off, last Friday they came out with their new Cloud Architecture double dry hopped marshmallow hazy double IPA, crafted with Lucky Charm marshmallow, Mosaic Amarillo, and Laurel hops.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a avid fan, you will actually remember Luke describing this beer when we were at Trim Tab. He was discussing how tough it was to get those Lucky Charms into the brew.
Yeah.
Little things just blow up.
Yeah, they I think they posted a picture on their Instagram of them dumping like a 50-pound sack of Lucky Charm marshmallows into the boil.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be a good one for sure.
Yeah. And then of course Wednesday this week, you're looking at their first small batch crowler, limited to only 50. And now, whenever we were discussing with Brad there at Trim Tab about this, he said details to come, and he came through about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Through their Instagram, they posted a photo of the label, which is pretty cool. It's called the Dessert Sour. It is brewed with double strawberry, toasted coconut, cinnamon, almonds, granola, white chocolate, and vanilla beans.
Wow. Fruit in there, of course, right?
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, that sounds like a roller coaster.
Yeah. Sounds very I'm having a hard time.
You can't really
pick.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really. I can't think of anything I've had in that same realm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. And like we mentioned, there's only 50 of them. So I would suggest getting there, pretty early Wednesday to check that out. Wednesday afternoon, obviously.
Yeah.
And then as you transition into Thanksgiving, Trim Tab will be open. They're just opening later at 4 p.m., probably to give the whole team an opportunity to eat, get some carbs on their stomach so they can come back in and get back to it. And then the big day for Trim Tab. Now, in their own words, this is their most prized release of the year. Friday, Black Friday, is Language of Thunder Day, which is the Imperial Stout. And they're doing 3 versions of it this year. They got the Cumulus, the Hazelnut Cocoa, and Marshmallow Maple. That's the one that kind of threw me for a loop there. 9.7%. It's their bottle release. It's a huge event that they've got going on. I'm hoping I could probably get by there. That Marshmallow Maple, I'm too curious about.
Yeah, it's interesting. And obviously I'm wondering if they had some leftover marshmallows and they thought we're making a maple stout, maybe we'll just throw some marshmallow in there or what. Yeah, they've been doing some really interesting stuff, and we'll see in just a sec that they're they're not done with just those Language of Thunder releases either.
Nope. So, of course, Friday, if you get the chance while you're out shopping, maybe you got up at 3 a.m., you got the TV, you got the Roomba, now you got the Language of Thunder. You're good to go. And then you got to make your way back on Saturday, because this one I am going to make it by for, to grab the small batch they'll be releasing on Saturday, which is the Eggnog Hazy IPA. I don't even know what to think it's going to taste like, but
I know.
It just excites the hell out of me.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting for sure.
And I'm hoping they'll at least have those little reindeer cups, like in Christmas Vacation, that you can drink them out of.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
That would be great. And then also on Saturday, as if they didn't have enough going on, they'll also be doing a can release for the Gallery Series number 26, which, surprise, is fruity, Fruit of the Gods, Berliner Weiss. So if you make it by really at all this weekend, end of the week, Thanksgiving, you're going to get some really cool stuff coming out of Trim Tab. And Saturday, you'll be on the lookout there to wrestle some Eggnog Hazy IPA out of my hands.
Out of Steven's hands.
Exactly. Because I'm going to be pretty possessive of that one.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I think the theme of this week is a lot of Black Friday and Saturday events. So Cahaba Brewing, just up the road, they're having an event, and I couldn't really find a whole lot of details about it, but it's called the Big Barrel-Aged Beers Giving Bonanza.
Nice.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
It is Wednesday at 12 p.m. until, I guess, through the rest of the day. They're going to have a couple food trucks. I think one of them I saw was Cantina.
Nice.
I would imagine they're probably going to have several barrel-aged offerings, but I don't know what those are. So
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I found a little details here. It is from noon till 10. This is a specialty draft event that's bringing some of their crowd favorites back on tap for one day only. Now, Sarah with Cahaba didn't mention what the crowd favorites are, but I guess if you have a favorite, it might be back up. And the beer list is actually on their Facebook page. So, and they're giving away some cool stuff there at the event as well. So, big and barrel aged beers giving bonanza. I like it.
A lot of alliteration there.
No, I was trying to think if they could do an acronym, because I'm a big acronym guy, but I'm not even going to go down that path. And then, of course, we talked about it last week at Good People. We kind of gave you the introduction of El Gordo Days coming up. And this was really cool because the folks at Good People gave us an update on what was going on with El Gordo Day. And this was a little bit of a secret behind the scenes update, because they had said that they hadn't posted this yet. But it's the full list of what's going on at El Gordo Day. We talked about some of them last week: the standard Gordo, the vanilla Gordo Nitro. I don't think we talked about that one. The chocolate coconut Gordo, and you tell me if I'm butchering this or not, the Leaper's Fork Rye barrel aged Gordo.
I wouldn't know.
Okay, fair enough. And then this part I didn't realize was the case, and I don't know if this is the way they do it every year, but the bourbon barrel aged Gordo is aged in Buffalo Trace barrels. I didn't know
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't either. That sounds incredible.
yeah, and then of course the bourbon barrel aged Buffalo Trace featuring the Domestique coffee, El
Hmm.
Gordo aged in cinnamon vanilla bourbon barrels, and then El Gordo aged in peach brandy barrels. And then the last one, catch my breath there, the El Gordo Mole aged in mezcal barrels,
Yep,
mezcal.
mezcal.
So
Sure.
you're gonna have a huge selection come El Gordo Day. So
Yeah,
December
and
14th.
they also mentioned that, and this we kind of touched on this in the last week as well, but they've verified they will have some 2018 bottles for sale
Cool.
um, that carried over, but it sounds like they don't have anything older than that left. So
Mm.
that's as old as you get, 1 year. You got to age it yourself from there.
Exactly. This is on you, buddy.
Yep.
Uh, and then, of course, coming up this Saturday, Happy Hour Yoga, which I didn't realize
Yep.
they have most Saturdays.
Yeah, almost every Saturday, and I don't know what time it is, so that's not super helpful. But um, yeah, they do it pretty much year round on Saturdays.
Yeah, I can tell you. Have you gotten into yoga at all?
Done it a little bit with Lauren. She's more of the yoga person than I am.
Is it yogi?
Yogi.
Or the yogi?
Yep.
That's something that I feel like I hurt more after I do it, and I don't know if it's because I'm so stoved up that my body's like, whoa, this is a little too loose, buddy. Like things just start pulling muscles that felt
Falling
like they were
off of
together
you.
before. So I can imagine a beer or two would loosen you up a little bit for yoga. So
Yeah, and I think the price of the class includes a beer,
oh, cool.
so that's kind of fun.
2 beers for 1 pose.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, of course, their other entity,
Yes, Avondale.
a little bit down the road.
Yep, up the street, the other side of downtown, Avondale. Um, their Mosey Amber Lager is out now. It's been out for a couple weeks. Apparently, it's doing very well. The readout reads, "It is by far the lightest beer in Avondale." In let me start that over. It's by far the lightest beer in the Avondale portfolio with no hoppy or bitter notes to be found. I like to tell people that you might not remember what your first beer tasted like, but I guarantee it tasted like this. Super easy drinking, and at 4.6%, it is a perfect new all-day drinker. So that sounds fun.
That's cool, and I think it's going to be a staple now, right?
I
They're
think
going to
so,
have it be
yeah.
a year-round offering.
Yeah, and a little behind the scenes on that, when we recorded with Good People, we got to see all the branding materials for
Hmm.
that beer before they had announced it was coming out. So that's kind of fun as well.
Yeah, and Andrew from that episode, if you remember, it's really cool the stuff he's doing with their branding.
Yeah,
It's really revamped what Avondale logos and cans and everything looks like.
yeah,
It's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. He's doing a really good job with that stuff. And other Avondale news, the Sour Room, which I personally have missed having around. I don't. In the past, they've had press releases saying where it's going to be.
Hmm.
I think the plan is to build it right next to the stage in the Avondale backyard.
Oh, interesting.
So apparently, construction on that has started officially. Um, they are hoping to open soon, and if you want to follow the details on that, make sure to check out their Facebook page. So
Yeah, I
that's
know that's
exciting.
something that that a lot of people probably were a little hesitant to go check out because I mean, a whole place dedicated to just sours.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was a little intimidating, but everyone I've talked to that actually went in there has really missed having the sour room.
yeah, it was a cool place. You know, it was very separate from that brewery vibe
Hmm.
that a lot of people are so used to. Um, Nate Darnell was obviously a big part in the original Sour Room. They had some good offerings. It was a cool vibe in there. Hopefully, they kind of carry that over to the new one and continue in that same strain, because it was a cool spot for sure.
Mm-hmm. And another place that you can check out this weekend that is always coming out with new cool stuff, and the branding is always fascinating to me on Ghost Train.
Mm-hmm.
They've got, last week they put out their Select Blonde, which we actually had a chance to try at the Moss Rock Festival. I don't know if you got one of those or not.
I don't think I did, actually. No.
It was good, very good. And then this week they've got their Blush Cider, the Camellia State Flower, if I'm not mistaken.
We're gonna have to fact check that one. I'm not sure.
Confirmed. The Blush Cider that you can check out, which is cool. I've never seen, and we talked about this last week even, ciders not being something we see a lot.
Yeah, and it's probably not a coincidence that we're seeing them now, because this is cider season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good time to come out with one of those, I would guess.
And then the one that I actually commented on their post about, because I've been in a weird kick of fruity IPAs. I don't know. Tell me. I know your look is like, wait a minute, that is 100% against you.
It is, but it's very exciting.
It's exciting. You look like it's Christmas morning already.
Like, what?
Yeah.
We're drinking them now.
Anyways, Ghost Train's coming out with the Mango Days New England Double IPA. And that's coming out Wednesday. So that's one that, just the picture of it and all, it looks absolutely delicious. And I can't tell you when I got on this kick. But that's a big beer, a New England Double IPA, with the mango to go with it. That's going to be, throw some vodka in there and you've got a drink.
Probably don't need to throw any vodka in there. It's probably already 7 or 8% alcohol.
And then, of course, wrapping up, they've also got a White Light Wit that they're going to be putting out. Very Christmassy vibe, holiday season. So,
yeah.
And then, of course, with all the additions that Ghost Train's added, it's a pretty cool spot. They've got the containers now, that's seating and
yeah. Have you been
stuff
there since they set that up?
I've only driven by, and
me too.
every time I think I should stop, and I just haven't done it yet. So get out, check out all the additions, and then the additions to the taps as well. Get you a couple of those, and let me know about the Mango Days IPA, because I'm an IPA guy now. Will.
Woohoo! We have no more diversity on this podcast.
This is we should just rename it from ESB to IPA now.
Yeah.
Just the fanboys.
IPA Fanboys podcast
with a Z.
So let's see. Down the road, back into downtown, one of our newer breweries in town, District Brewing Company, Birmingham District Brews. December 3rd from 6 to 9 p.m. They are having an event to benefit Mitchell's Place, which is an autism treatment center. 10% of sales in that time frame are going to Mitchell's Place. So definitely get out there and have the beer you're enjoying contribute to a really good cause, and enjoy some good District Brews beer, because they've got
cool.
some good stuff going on.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff that you can choose from. It's a pretty wide selection. So
yeah,
that's really cool. Another one, if you were going to make the trip from District, you'd have a little bit of a drive ahead of you. But if you headed down to Alabaster, Interstellar Ginger Beers, they've got a new one back on tap. And I believe I actually tried this one when we were there to interview Shane. It's the Andromeda Ambrosia, which is, and this is still amazing and astounding to me, how big they can make these ginger beers. It's a 6.9% hibiscus ginger beer. And I remember really enjoying it, but those things sneak up on you too. It's delicious.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was a smaller pour than all the other ones too.
Yeah. So be sure to get down there. If you haven't tried it yet, it's back on tap there. Interstellar Ginger Beer and Space Exploration Company.
Yeah, sounds right.
Checks
out.
Yeah. Thanks, Shane.
All right, and then back in town at Back 40 Beham. Haven't gotten to record a full episode with them yet. We would love to, but still reporting on their news. They've got kind of a cool news item. They're starting to sell bombers in the tap room if they're small batches.
That's cool.
Um, so right now, it looks like what they have in those bombers is their hazy New Zealand IPA, which is a New England style IPA, but it's brewed with New Zealand hops.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, really interested to try that.
What
And
does a
then
New Zealand hop taste like?
I don't
Kiwi?
know, man, never had one before.
Oh, okay.
Um, but they're hops that are grown in New Zealand, so
Hmm.
that's kind of interesting, fun kind of play on words there.
Yeah.
Uh, their other bomber offering right now is the Wee Heavy Ale. Um,
Is that wee heavy or wee heavy?
Wee Heavy.
Like a wee heavy.
It's Wee Heavy.
I don't think that didn't help clarify anything for me.
Wee with two e's.
Okay, so like a
Um,
little, a bit heavy.
it's a bit heavy. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
It's not very heavy. It's Wee Heavy.
gotcha.
Um, so that's kind of cool. You'll be able to get a little bit of beer to go, um, pre-packaged and some nice bomber bottles. So that's
Yeah.
always fun.
Yeah, and that's not a normal thing much anymore. I feel like bombers were a very common thing for a while there, and you don't see
Now
them as
it's
often.
Yeah, now it's all about those 16-ounce cans.
Yeah, and the crowlers in the tap room, those are cool. I like
The
those.
crowlers too, yeah.
Yeah, and then if you are in the Trustville area, Slag Heap, they're loading up with the Season food truck for the Iron Bowl.
Yep.
So that was kind of the main thing. They've been doing a lot of new stuff recently too. So if you want to get by there, check out some of the new beers, especially like we spoke with Joe about the tagline of "Stop at Slag Heap, you don't have to drive to Birmingham."
Yeah.
So if you want to check out the Iron Bowl somewhere outside of your house,
Yeah.
that's a good spot to check it out. And then we actually wrap up Birmingham news with a new addition to the list, which will keep building, I guess, with what we have
Yeah.
updates on.
Yeah, hopefully we'll continue having updates on this. And I'm sure a lot of people have probably already heard that this is coming to Birmingham, but it's not here yet. Monday Night Brewing is opening a garage brew pub downtown. And last I heard, their property is going to be across the street from Good People.
Interesting.
Just, yeah, very, I think it's
Across
actually
which
where,
street?
I think it is, I don't know if it's actually across a street to get there, but I believe it's going where Beer Engineers was supposed to go.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And I'm sure anyone who's been to Good People or a Barons game in the last 10 years has seen the Beer Engineers sign on that building. I think that's where it's going. Don't hold me to that. That's just a guess. But I know it's going to be right there around the stadium. It is a brew pub, so they are going to brew their own stuff, but they're also going to have other people's beers on tap, as well as Monday night beer that's brewed in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may also have some food. I'm not sure about that. But construction is kind of started, I think. But the news currently is that they are hiring for the general manager spot.
Oh, nice.
So for anyone who is interested in doing that, reach out through their social media. I think that's probably the best way. That's where they posted.
That's where I've seen it.
Yeah, and see if you can get a job at Birmingham's newest brew pub.
That's cool. I think the last I saw was that they were going to try to be open by end of Q1 2020.
Oh wow. Okay, so they're surely under construction already.
And that was the kind of initial article.
Yeah.
Announcing it. So of course things change with putting something like this together.
Yeah,
so,
construction projects are behind schedule from day one. So that's how that goes.
And last week we headed up 65 once we got out of Birmingham. I figured it was only fair to go down 65 this time. And talk about the folks who last week was my favorite one to talk about with the Righteous Gemstones announcement.
Yeah.
And this week, and it's funny, Brian Kane, who we had from Fairhope Brewing Company in Fairhope, Alabama, he sent us a note back and he was like, loved it. I knew you guys were going to have fun talking about the Gemstones.
Good.
They've got a busy week going on too.
Yeah.
Wednesday, they're having their first ever. And if you're from the coast or know about the coast, there's something about having a toss. If you go to Floribama, you got the mullet toss. And Fairhope is putting on their first ever Satsuma, which I did have to look this up. I'm not going to act like I knew what a Satsuma was. A mandarin orange, basically,
Yeah.
toss to benefit feeding the Gulf Coast. So that's really cool. They're going to have the tap room open at noon, and the tossing starts at 4. And for a $5 donation, you get one Satsuma to toss at cornhole boards of various distances. And then, of course, there'll be prizes for hitting the hole. And then every participant who drops a Satsuma in the farthest hole option will come back at 8 p.m. to compete for a prize pack, including an LED sign and other merchandise. So that's really cool.
Wow, that is cool.
And to go along with this was one of the reasons I wanted to be able to plug this was they're going to have live music starting at 3 p.m. with Brittany Grimes. Now, Brittany dated my roommate in college.
Really?
She was already starting to, play locally like that. And whenever they first started dating, he told me, she's a country singer. She's really good. She's playing this festival downtown this weekend. It's like a Saturday. I'm a sophomore in college, just turned 21. So we get there at like 11 a.m. And for some reason, I was drinking Bombay gin. And so I had a little too much at that point. And we were watching her play. And I was sitting there for some reason. She was really good. And I was not expecting it. And I literally turned to him and I was like, you got to marry her, man. I was like getting a little emotional. I had a little too much to drink. And needless to say, they broke up pretty soon after that.
Good.
But she's very talented, really good to go see.
She is, yeah.
So if you get the chance to see her, and then at 7 p.m., they'll have Yeah, Probably, which would be cool. And then Thursday, of course, you got Thanksgiving. They're going to be open as well, opening at 6 p.m. And they want to come out and cheer on the Saints as they try to get revenge in Atlanta. Friday, Black Friday. This, if I hadn't have made my comments about the IPA stuff earlier, you would have said was my event.
When I read this, I was like, Steven may drive down to Fairhope on Friday.
Well, now that we're the IPA boys, I can't do that. Black Friday, they're returning with a great list of dark beers. They're going to open at noon on Black Friday and have music with Mitch Johnston, Blackwater Brass, and then they're going to have the Blues Burger food truck will be there. But listen to this list of dark beers they're going to have for the day. And a lot of these, I don't even know what they are because the name doesn't even really tell you. But they got
just dark.
Yeah, the Painted Black, the Long Handshake, the Double Stuffed Oreo Stout, Harmonica Man, the Chocolate Dunkel, the Gingerbread Stout, Cuckoo for Cocoa, Oatmeal Raisin Cookie Stout, New World Stout, the Coconut Judge, French Toast Porter, Thin Mint Stout, and Judge Roy Bean. They're going to have all of those on tap on Black Friday. And if you don't follow them on social media, go find their Twitter page because they made a Game of Thrones style trailer for this where the brewer is acknowledging all the beers that they're going to have. So check that out if you get the chance. It's the perfect way to see what's going on. But the IPA boys won't be there. So Saturday, you can check out, of course, the Iron Bowl at Fairhope, games 2:30. They're going to have all the TVs on. It's a pretty common theme, too, this weekend is if the brewery is open on Saturday,
they're going to be showing the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot to do at Fairhope if you're down on the coast this weekend.
Yeah, and back up in Montgomery, we did not have them on the news show last week, but Common Bond Brewing on Wednesday is doing a Friendsgiving celebration. All I got was they're doing drink specials, and they close late. So
nice. That's always good.
Yeah, little pregame to Thanksgiving if you're going back to the capital for Thanksgiving. So
nothing like
that should be fun.
Hungover, having to have political talk at the Thanksgiving table.
Yeah,
irritable,
good times,
angsty. Then you say "Okay, Boomer" whenever they finish the.
That's the weapon I have in my arsenal that I didn't last year.
I don't know how effective it is, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You can check out Common Bond, and then if you are down on the Gulf Coast, I don't know if beach trips are a common thing for Thanksgiving, but you want to get
Maybe if
somewhere
your
warm.
family's down there,
Yeah, yeah, kind of get together there. Big Beach Brewing in Gulf Shores. They just put out a brand new beer for the love of Strata. It is a dry hopped tropical lager, which I didn't know much about uh, Strata hops. I YouTubed that's how you pronounce it.
hmm
Um, but their description of it's a cool new hop that's more rare, and they've used it. They had a previous beer that they had done for the Love Mosaic, so kind of in the same vein. It's perfect, I'm sure, for the beach. Dry hop tropical lager. I'm all in on.
yeah,
So that's it for your Gulf Coast beer experiences for this
yeah.
week. And then if you
Now
want to
we're
make that trek way back up the other way,
jumping all the way up to the north side, Goat Island. Well, we'll do Wednesday first. Wednesday they are doing Thanksgiving karaoke at 6 p.m.
what does that
Um,
entail?
I don't know. Are there Thanksgiving songs that are karaokeable?
I don't know. That's a really missed market.
Is it though? I don't know.
Thanksgiving music, because then we could at least get a buffer before Christmas music.
That's true. Because there are a lot of things that outrage me, but very few outrage me more than going into a store on Halloween and hearing Christmas music.
I
Because
agree.
that happened to me this year, and I just walked right out of that store.
Turn right around.
Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine once Mariah milks everything she can out of the Christmas albums, we're going to be getting Mariah Thanksgiving 2023.
I welcome it. As long as they have something else to play at Hobby Lobby, I'll be fine.
So you can
Um,
do Thanksgiving karaoke at Goat Island
yeah.
on Wednesday.
Yes. Also, they have some wines back on in the tap room. They have a white muscadine wine, a Cabernet Sauvignon, and a limited run blueberry wine.
That sounds
Um,
interesting.
so if you're in the Coleman area and you want to go to the brewery, but you're not a beer fan, they've got some wine on service. Also on Friday, they are releasing a large batch German style Helles. Um, so that's pretty cool too. I'm sure we may hopefully see that in cans down in the Birmingham area too.
Yeah. And they're, I mean, when we were up there, a lot of what they do was a German style because it is
Yeah,
a German town. Um, and it was all delicious. So I can only imagine that's going to be solid as well.
yeah, I'm sure it will.
And up in Decatur, Alabama, our buddy Trey at Cross-Eyed Owl, another one that it's still impressive how much selection he provides with the setup he has.
hmm
So coming out on Wednesday is the Maple Pecan Ale, which sounds absolutely delicious. And then coming out on Sunday, the 1st of December, is the Klaus, which is their Christmas stout. Or you could say Claus, depends on how you want to look at it.
hmm
And then going on in the tap room, they've got $1 off of their Pumpkin Jack, which is their pumpkin stout. And then Friday night, you can catch some live music with Aaron Bradley. Looked up some of that on YouTube. Pretty solid as well.
Sweet.
But you can't get Cross-Eyed Owl on Thanksgiving Day. They're going to be shut down for that. So don't make the trip on Thursday, and you should be pretty good.
Yep. Yellowhammer, all the way up the road in Huntsville. Excuse me. They are, I guess, about to release or just released,
These are all coming out this week.
coming out this week.
Yes.
Don't Tell Dave Imperial Brown Ale on Nitro, 8.8% ABV.
Ooh, man. Anything on
That's a heavy
Nitro,
one.
I'm gonna be going for it.
Yeah. Transcendence Belgian IPA. That sounds interesting. That sounds like maybe Gar had some influence in that one.
Well,
Uh,
and it's interesting too that it's only 5.5%
yeah.
for a Belgian IPA. That seems like it's bound to be like 15%.
Yeah. Yeah, so that sounds very interesting. I'm gonna have to see if I can get my hands on that. And then they also have a Belgian double called 1819. I think they've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
That one is 7.4%. And then some interesting news as well. November 29th, which is
Friday.
Friday,
Mhm.
from 5 to 10. They're having a release party for their new rum in the what is it called? I'm sorry. Lost Highway Cocktail Lounge.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Is that the back area there?
yeah, so it's a little separate from the main brewery area. It's kind of, I think it probably has its own entrance.
Mhm.
Um, but that's super cool. If I think they have a whiskey, a vodka, and a gin as well. Don't quote me on that, but the release party is for their rum. Sounds like it should be a good time. They will have tiki cocktails, tacos, tropical music, and Christmas gifts, all of which go perfectly together.
Nice. I
Yeah,
like that. Get Thanksgiving out of the way so then we can get the real party going.
that's right.
And then you can wander over and throw some axes over at Campus 805
There you go.
and get a tattoo, which
And speak to your lawyer, apparently.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan and I, when we were wandering through that, the campus there, it's just astounding how much you can do in one evening in that building. Uh, the anarchy that you can cause in one square footage.
Yeah.
And so fittingly wrapping up this week's news is Friends of Straight to Ale. They're within Campus 805 in Huntsville. Kimberly there, they didn't have a whole lot going on. You know, they had the new beer releases last week. This week you're looking at Saturday in the Speakeasy behind the locker for those who don't know how to get there.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Well,
Come on, Steven.
when Logan and I were there, I pointed it out to her, and some guy walked by, and I was like, "Oh, great! They're gonna come find me and flog me or something," you know. Um, but then you can check that out on Saturday. That's at 6 p.m. with Hunter Wainscott, and then also for Black Friday and to fittingly tie it up at the very end, Small Business Saturday, they're gonna have 10% off all of their regularly priced merch Friday and Saturday. So if you want to go pick up any swag from Straight to Ale, they've got a whole little gift shop. It looks like when you get off like Men in Black at Universal Studios, and it's your chance to pick up everything Men in Black that you wanted to.
Yep.
It's right there for you. So
Not quite as overpriced though.
no, very reasonably priced, and you can pick up
Yes.
some of the spirits there too,
Yes.
which is cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to do this weekend, especially if you need something to kind of take your mind off of all of the family events and the family gatherings, or if you want to have something to take to the family gathering, you're pretty well set up. So I'm excited, especially if you want to get some eggnog New England IPAs with me. I'm gonna have to circle back on that one
Yeah.
and let you know how it goes. So, well, man, did you have anything else you wanted to cover? I had a whole dissertation on the history of bootlegging, but we
Oh
can save
boy.
that one for next week if you want
Save
to.
that for a full episode.
Okay, well, fair enough. We'll touch back on that one. As always, be sure to find us online, extraspecialbrews.com. If you are a brewery listening to this or a rep with a brewery and you would like to be featured, some of the news you've got going on you want to share, you can go to the website and just fill out the request form there and get in touch with us, or find us on social media at Extra Special Brews. Send us a note there. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to leave a review if you feel so led to. And Will, if you'd like to take us out with your...
All right. Thank you guys for listening. I hope people are enjoying the weekly updates. Hopefully something that you can look forward to in your inbox on Wednesdays. And if you are, reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to hear some feedback, and we'll talk to you next week.
Perfect. I thought you were going to sing Kiss from a Rose as we left, but
You don't want to hear me sing, I promise.
that's fair enough. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.